Hello, everyone. I am here today to share with you some more information about Viterbo University's Dietetic Internship. I'm going to go through each of our tracks in some detail. So if you know which track you'd like to pursue, please feel free to fast forward to that track. Or if you're not quite sure, go ahead and listen to the whole thing. So we do offer three tracks for the dietetic internship here at Viterbo. Our first track is the dietetic internship only. You must have a master's degree to complete this track. This track is 1,400 hours of clinicals, 16 credits, and the tuition is $11,200. Track two is a dietetic internship plus a non-thesis master's. It is a focus on clinical. And it is 1,400 hours as well, 28 credits, and $19,600. And finally, is track three, our dietetic internship plus our thesis master's program. This has fewer clinical hours because you will be spending 1 day a week working on your thesis project. So it's got just over 1,000 hours, 40 credits, and $28,000. All of our tracks can be completed anywhere in the United States. So you don't have to be located in La Crosse to complete them. We have a clinical placement coordinator, Jamie Weber. Once you're officially accepted into our program, Jamie will work with you to secure your rotation sites. You do not need to find your own rotation sites for this program. So Jamie will ask you where you would like to be placed geographically, as well as your nutrition interest. Do you want to make sure you get a peds rotation? Do you want to make sure you get sports nutrition, eating disorders, whatever it may be? You do not need to find your own sites, and you don't have to have your sites identified before we accept you into the program. This makes Viterbo unique. We are the only country, excuse me, the only program in the country that offers this. Most distance programs are going to require you to find your own sites. So, track one, dietetic internship alone, if you already have your master's degree. This is 28 credits total over 10 months. As I mentioned before, we place you anywhere, 1,400 clinical hours, and as I said, you must have your master's degree for this track. Phase one is what we lovingly refer to as boot camp. This is an 8-week online course. It's completed at your own pace over the summer, and it includes lectures on MNT as well as community nutrition. There are a variety of case studies using Ergo. The nice thing about Ergo is that it mimics the Epic charting system, which is what most clinical facilities are using. And the case studies are more complex than what you may have found in your didactic work when you're in classes. So, in classes, you may have had a diabetes case study where you simply focused on diabetes. But in the real world, most people have other things going on than just diabetes. And so Ergo really does a great job of mimicking this. And we also have simulation activities where you learn how to place NG tubes, do blood glucose monitoring, etc. The community nutrition portion of the course orients you to community facilities where you may find yourself. You have some virtual tours and you learn how to do health screenings, including blood glucose monitoring. This course really makes sure that you are ready to hit the ground running for your rotations. So phase two is going to be your community nutrition rotation. It's the full semester. It's 16 weeks, and we generally have you do two sites for 8 weeks each. The only exception to this is your sports nutrition rotation, which generally they like you to be there the whole semester, so that way you get the most out of the experience. So if you're interested in sports nutrition, you may just do one semester long rotation. You do 40 hours a week. And some options of sites are eating disorder clinics. We also have some virtual telehealth eating disorder rotations, WIC clinics, corporate wellness, including as well as private practice, sports nutrition, or maybe working with a grocery store. Phase three is going to be your MNT and food service rotation. And the reason that I have these combined is many times you'll do a couple of weeks of food service at your MNT site, particularly if it is a hospital. So this again is a full semester, 16 weeks, and generally we have you do two sites for 8 weeks each. Again, you're doing 40 hours a week. And you can do inpatient at a hospital, an outpatient clinic like weight management or diabetes management. You might be in long-term care. We have telehealth options as well as private practice. So track two is if you don't have your master's degree and you're doing the dietetic internship plus the non-thesis master's. This is our clinically focused program. So this is your dietetic internship and your master's degree, 46 credits over 14 months. And just like all of our tracks, you can complete your rotations anywhere, and you'll have 1,400 hours when you're done. So phase one, I already talked about boot camp. This is our course that gets you ready to hit the ground running for your rotations. You're going to do our ergo case studies that mimics the EPIC charting system. So you're ready to know how to review charts and to write notes. We have a variety of MNT and community lectures, and we introduce you to resources that you may need while you're doing your rotations. You'll also complete an online master's elective during the summer. These are all online. I have some examples of some nutrition focused courses, advanced sports nutrition, nutrition and inflammation, systems approach to obesity. You also may consider taking some courses in our mental health counseling master's program if you know that you're really interested in, say, eating disorders or outpatient counseling. And you could also take from our MBA healthcare management program. Maybe you know you're really interested in getting into administration or working as a director. Similar to track one, your phase two will be your community rotation. So this is a 16-week rotation. Generally, you do two sites, 8 weeks each. As I mentioned before, though, if you are doing sports nutrition, a lot of time they like to have you for the entire semester. So you might be, if you are really interested in sports nutrition, you may do an entire semester with the Minnesota Vikings or University of Arizona, Cornhuskers, wherever it may be. I have a list of other site options. You could do eating disorders. We have options for inpatient, outpatient, and telehealth for eating disorder rotations, WIC clinic, corporate wellness, including private practice, or a grocery store. Phase three is going to be your MNT food service rotation. As I mentioned before, we generally combine these because you can do your food service if you're doing an inpatient MNT rotation, you can do the food service right there at the hospital. This is also a full semester, 16 weeks, and generally we have you go to two different sites for 8 weeks each. That way you get exposure to a different variety of potential sites for MNT. As I mentioned, you can do inpatient and outpatient, like weight management, counseling, or diabetes management, long-term care, lots of telehealth and private practice options as well. Finally, phase four, you'll finish your master's degree. That's the second summer, and you'll take one more elective. And I have here some more nutrition-related options. We have nutrition and cancer, nutrigenomics, MNT3, and as I said before, you could choose to take an elective from mental health counseling or the MBA program. So track three is going to be our dietetic internship plus a thesis. So this is going to be 40 credits total over 14 months. As with all of our tracks, you can be placed anywhere in the country that you would like. And this has fewer clinical hours because you will be spending 1 day a week working on your thesis. So similar to track two, that first summer, you'll take an online elective and you'll do our online boot camp course that really prepares you for your rotation. You'll do a full semester community nutrition rotation. Again, as I've said before, this is generally two sites, 8 weeks each, unless you choose to do sports nutrition. And then they generally like to have you for the entire semester so you can get the most out of your experience. You do 32 hours a week at your site, and then you'll have 1 day a week to work on your thesis. MNT and food service, as I've mentioned before, we generally combine these because if you're doing one of your MNT rotations at a hospital, then you can generally do your food service at the facility there. Again, 32 hours a week so that you can spend 1 day a week working on your thesis. And for MNT, you can do inpatient, outpatient, like weight management or diabetes management counseling, long-term care. We also have lots of telehealth and private practice options for you as well. Then, similar to track two, you'll finish up your master's with an elective that second summer. And I have some examples here of some nutrition electives. And again, you could choose to take mental health counseling or an MBA elective. I also wanted to highlight our Spain rotation option. So with this, you would take credit the spring semester. It counts as a graduate elective as well as 1 credit of supervised practice. The course is sports nutrition and the Mediterranean diet. We travel to Spain the last 2 weeks of May, and you work with professional athletes as a rotation there. And the nice thing about this is that you actually save a credit on your master's degree if you're in track two or three. And the students just love the experience. And you can see us here, one of our cultural activities where we traveled to Granada for the weekend. Um, Financial aid can be applied for the entire internship, even track one, because it is tied to graduate credits. And the nice thing is that you do generally receive a higher amount of aid for graduate programs than you may have received in your undergraduate. And you can also use student loans. How do you apply? Apply by February 10th, and you will be notified of your acceptance into the program by March 1st. While you can apply on Dicus, I would encourage you to just apply directly through Viterbo's website. This is going to save you the Dicus fee. We don't charge an application fee. What you'll need are your unofficial transcripts, a personal statement, and only 1 letter of recommendation, while Dicus requires 3. Um, be sure to note which track you are applying for in your personal statement so we know which one you're interested in. Check out our website. I've got the link here. You'll also find the application information on this website. I've got my email address, Jamie Weber's email address. She is our clinical placement coordinator and can answer any questions that you may have about where you could potentially do rotations. And then Kelsey McLyman's is our graduate program director. If you're interested in doing track two or three with our master's program, you would work with her to determine which courses and which electives would best fit your personal career interests. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions.